Mm-hmm. Where are we today? Where are we today? Talking about riots. Talking about rioters and gatherings, illegal gatherings. It is illegal for you to gather for certain reasons and not other reasons. Morning, everybody. Come on in. Marcus Conte reporting on the rioting. The riot police, not a riot. There was no riots. Riot police prevented the riots. That's what they do, man. They step in. They save the day. What's up, Vinny DiMartini in the house? What's up, brother? What's up, my brother? Look where I am, man. Look where I am. Marcus in the morning. Thank you. Down here at just a beautiful spot. It's beautiful for all the wrong reasons. This is legal New York, the legalities. What's up, CV? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Jim Gerard, Vinny DiMartini, her popper. So talk about this. Talk about the riot police breaking up anti-lockdown rallies in New York and California yesterday. These are correctional. These are paddy wagons. These are the paddy wagons that drag you off to jail, and or if you're in jail, if you happen to be in jail and you need to go to court, which we're standing in front of, this is where they would shuffle you in. They would take you from your jail cell, place you in front of the judge, and there you will state your case. Now, there's nothing to see here because in New York, nobody got arrested. But in California, apparently, a few people did. And what I want to do, I'll just give you a tour. So again, you're talking about, these are the courthouses. Let me get out of the sun so you can see. These are the courthouses. It's old. That's like green. I bet that's, all that green is copper. Old copper building. Right? And that building right there, if you've ever heard of the Tombs in New York City, the Tombs, that's a jail right there. That's a city jail. That's a city jail. These are the city courts. And across the street is Supreme Court. Now, what the hell am I doing about, down here? Why am I here? Because I want to talk about the effectiveness of yesterday's protests, and more so the ineffectiveness of any of this crap that happens to be going on. This idea of social, civil disobedience as a way to, I don't know if I want to film the hot chick or we'll film both. Film the hot chick and the correctional truck. She needs some correction. Hey you, it's time to be corrected. So as you see, here's the courts. We're going to walk down to Foley Square. All right, we've got some people here now, so let me talk. Yo, my brothers, my people, my peeps are all here, man.
You know you're gonna die.
How are you? Gonna die? Why am I gonna die?
Because you're videotaping and you're not even a photographer.
Wait. I'm videotaping because
You're taking pictures of people you don't know, and that's harassment.
I'm filming myself.
Videotaping people you don't know.
Ah, have a good day, man. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be good, you know.
I should just drop
Now
your
I'm
phone.
filming you.
Just drop your phone.
Now I'm filming me. I'm not filming you.
No, you're not filming yourself.
I'm not filming myself. Look, you interrupted me and I brought you into the frame. You have a nice day, man. Stay happy. It's not that bad. Ah, I'm the news. You're on the news, lady. I'm going to be nice today. Today, the idea is people are really crazy. That's a homeless person. She's dragging around all her worldly possessions. We don't tell her to go fuck herself. We try to be sympathetic unless she attacks us. She's living hard, man. She's dragging all her shit with her. She's like a turtle, dragging her whole house with her. People are crazy, man. They don't. She thought I was filming her, but nonetheless, right? Forget about that. So, never a dull moment, right? How are we doing here? Oh, I can't see. All right, there we go. Yeah, another loose loon. There's a lot of it, right? And that's really the issue. That's really what I am starting to see as the story of COVID-19. It's not that people died of the virus, but the incompetence in the hospitals that killed people through ventilators and such, and the incompetence in dealing with creating rules like 6 feet, don't come within 6 feet of each other and wear a mask, have no scientific um, rationale to enforcing. There's nothing to say that or stay at home isolation. In fact, it's creating more and more problems. And it leads me to the point of what I'm trying to say about this rioting stuff. I'll give you the facts in a second. All right, let's give you a little tour first. So now it gets even more interesting. This is Foley Square, right? So right here you got the old court buildings. That's the Southern District of New York Civil Court. The Epstein Court is down the block a little bit. The Epstein Court is on this block. It's right over there at the mouth of the on the other side of that building over there. And this is New York Supreme Court. My point of this is that all of this, who do you think won that debate yesterday? The debate of law enforcement out in the park, clearing out parks, or the fine people protesting it and trying to speak up. My point is, does civil disobedience really work anymore? Is that the real way? Is that the way to make change? I don't think so. So here we go. In Sacramento, California, 32 people arrested at the Capitol. Violators were arrested in California, Sacramento, for, quote, demonstrating without a permit and resisting or delaying a police officer. See, they weren't arrested for social distancing rules. They were arrested for something else. Now, I've filmed many times in Washington Square Park where people are very close together, correct? All right, people are together, the police are friendly, they come up to you, there's no big deal, right? But once you start to come together and talk about reality, talk about things that are important, like, is any of this really effective in making us more safe? Then law enforcement will come down and put their boot on your throat and choke you out. Right, see the difference? See the difference? You see the Freedom Tower over there. See the Freedom Tower peeking through? It's a very, very nice, beautiful. They can't arrest us all. It's damn right. Somebody just said. I saw that. See the Freedom Tower up there? Peeking through? All right. That's the Freedom Tower. We're down here. If you're joining us late, we're down here at Foley Square, which is often a scene of activism. Activists, people that are actively voicing their opposition to the shit that the government is trying to jam down your throat. Or is the oligarchy trying to jam down your throat? And we're talking about this rioting, police breaking up rallies in New York and California to no surprise whatsoever. So in Sacramento, 32 people were arrested for resisting and delaying a police officer and demonstrating without a permit. Not for not social distancing. Confirmed. All right, 32 people got hauled off in those kind of carts over there, right? In the paddy wagons. Probably handcuffed with the white things, the white plastic handcuffs, so they don't waste metal on you, right? And protesters were part of a movement called Reopen California. They had about 1,000 people. 1,000 people, that's a lot. Allegedly, there were people driving around in cars. They didn't get out of their cars, but they were outside beeping and fucking around. You know what's interesting, too? This park, people don't even know. You know who Thomas Paine is? The real Thomas Paine. Not the phony guy, the phony fucking Thomas Paine, the fake publisher. But the fake news guy, Michael Moore. But the real Thomas Paine, his park, this park is actually named after Thomas Paine. People don't know that. I've been down here. I think I did this before, but you can see this is Thomas Paine Park. And it says, this park is in the heart of New York City Civil Center in the name of patriot, author, humanitarian, and political visionary Thomas Paine, 1737 to 1809. And let's find a quote. My country, oh, this is great. I love this. Look at this. Can you see it? My country is the world, and my religion is to do good. Thomas Paine, The Rights of Man, Part 2, 1792. So he was a great American thinker. And I mean, it's a great park. It's a great scene. But guess who always wins, man? We lost control of all of this stuff. In that court right now, there's people battling out bullshit lawsuits of who owes who money. You fucked me. I want my money, motherfucker. Oh, I said motherfucker. I was going to try not to do that today. Motherfucker, I'm suing you, you cocksucker. We're going to get 20 fucking lawyers and we're going to drive you crazy. That's what's going on in these buildings right here. It's all bullshit. It's corporate piss fighting. Corporate assholes with 4 lawyers each sitting across the table fighting over money and power and influence. And a couple of jerk-offs, a couple of stray jerk-offs that'll try to file a case, try to fuck you up. Yeah. But for the most part, it's all bullshit. Right? Over here is Supreme Court. You've got both criminal and civil cases going on in there, I believe. Could be wrong about that. I know it's definitely civil. So what was the outcome of California? 32 people arrested. A couple of cameras caught the action. Is it a good thing? No, the police won. I saw the horses. I saw the video. You saw the horses. They started to, surround the crowd with cops with bats and horses, and then they slowly close and then push you out. And if you resist, that's when they start arresting people. They did the same thing here in New York, but they did it more swiftly, more quickly. So here in New York City, about, maybe 3 blocks away at City Hall, there was an equal but opposite, or an equal kind of attempt to have a rally yesterday. 20 people showed up. Also in Albany, 100 people showed up, right? These were much less eventful, right? So 20 people. 20 people showed up to protest the lockdown. And what happened in New York? New York style. They went into City Hall Park. It's right over there. They're going to try again today at 12 o'clock. I might pop in. I know the organizers of the thing. I didn't go yesterday because I thought it was going to be rained out, to be honest with you. I didn't think they'd be out there in the rain. But I know the orchestrator of the thing, and I'll probably have a talk with him today. Maybe we'll go live with him, and he'll tell us what happened. But so there were at City Hall Park, about 20 to 25 people. I saw some video of it, mostly cops. There was 100 cops. Right, a lot of press, a lot of cameras going off. Right, a lot of video covering it. What the hell am I going to do there? It lasted less than an hour. Right, there was no podium, there was no microphone, there was no speeches, and the police came in and closed the park. Right, cops ordered the dispersal of the crowd. NYPD said gatherings are not permitted by order of the governor. Ooh. Gatherings are not permitted by order of the governor. But then again, Washington Square Park, you can hang out in there all day long. Right? You can hang out there and smoke your hookah, and you could suntan, you could play guitar. No cops are friendly. Right? You get in there close, you share a sandwich with somebody, it's no problem. But when you want to protest, when you want to say something that's important, all the laws come out. Right? So what is the moral of the story? What is the moral of the story? So in New York, nobody was arrested, no summons is issued. Nothing. That's why it's all quiet down here. If it weren't quiet, they would probably be arraigning people. There'd probably be a bus and be a little press. But nobody got arrested, no summonses issued. But man, the muscle. God damn, the muscle. So I could walk. You know what? I don't feel like walking. I want to walk somewhere I don't usually walk. I don't want to walk down to City Hall yet. But anyway, so that's what I'm trying to say about civil disobedience. Civil disobedience, does it work? Does it work? Does it work to Morris Conte reporting? Gather my thoughts. I'm gathering. Does it work to... Thank you guys for coming along, man. Welcome, everybody. If you're joining us late, we're down here at Foley Square, Pearl Street, New York City. It's very dead down here. It's very quiet. This is usual, not unusual for a Saturday morning because everything is closed. Also, that building, I forgot to mention that. Guess who's in there? That is the New York City field office for the FBI. Not all of it, but part of it. They have a couple of floors in there, New York City FBI. It's not New York City. The New York field office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation is in there. So civil disobedience, is that the right way to go, is what I'm trying to say. Is it, do you, I mean, we know the scene in Tiananmen Square where the sole Chinese man stood in front of the tanks and he stopped the onslaught, right? He stopped the onslaught of the tanks, the Chinese communist tanks, from doing something. And it was iconic and it was brilliant. One man against the tanks, the Chinese army. But does it work anymore is what I'm talking about. Does holding a sign and screaming and yelling give us our rights back? Does that really work? You remember in Iraq, in New York, in Iraq, right? The Iraqi war protests here in New York. There was 1 million people in the street. 1 million people in New York came out for that. Millions of people all over the world came out in their own respective countries and cities and states. All over the world came out. Millions of people. And nothing changed. The policy was not changed. Not one iota. And what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That the people don't have a voice in our government. They don't have a voice. You know, reading some comments. What's up? We don't have a voice anymore. So, as opposed to civil disobedience, which I've always said is that the problems this country's facing are economic in nature, and they are generated through a very corrupt oligarchical system. Now, I know there's some people just waking up to that notion and didn't really believe it beforehand. Said, "Oh no, Trump is draining the swamp." But when you realize who Trump replaced the swamp with, you realize that Trump is a creature of the swamp, has made his billions on the back of the swamp, and nothing whatsoever has changed. In fact, it's exacerbated the problem by giving corporate scumbags, billionaires increased tax breaks and giving $1 trillion in bailouts to people that don't need it and making regular people starve. Shutting down economies and not shutting down the oligarchy, but shutting down the regular people's economy, your economy, my economy, a small business economy, shutting all that down. See, that's the real problem. So how do you fight back against it? I mean, rule number one, there's 34,000 police officers in New York City. Last I checked, that number could have went up. It used to be like half that, then 9/11 happened, and they doubled or tripled it. And to think that we could have a little rally and win that fight against all those police officers, and the governor, Cuomo, probably on the phone saying, "Shut it down. Shut it down." Was he calling up to shut down Washington Square Park where people are sunbathing or smoking hookah and having a good time and enjoying themselves, listening to guitar players? No. He picked up the phone and shut down the opposition to his words. Right? And within moments, it was over. Within moments, people were shuffling. And what do you do? What do they have again? What's the situation again? What is the What is the scenario on the ground? Very few people getting forced out by a lot of police. And if you strike one of those police, or if you say, what are you going to do? Scream at the police? Oh, fuck you, you police. You guys suck. I hate you. And what does that do? Those guys are callous. Those guys are so callous, they're laughing at you. They don't give a shit what you say about them. Say whatever you want about them. You know what I mean? And they're in control. If they say move and you don't move, they take the club out and they clunk you on the head with it. All right? If they say get out and you don't get out, they handcuff you and throw you on the fucking paddy wagon. Right? And then you spend the night sitting in your own piss, sitting in some homeless guy's piss in a little room, in a big room, and a lot of people jammed in. Social distancing, fuck that. They always win is the point. You don't want to go. I stay away from shit like that. When I see it, I see it. Yeah. Look at the crazy people rioting and protesting. But what does it get? Is there any honor in being arrested for civil disobedience because the police said move and I refused to? Who gives a shit? Who cares about that? Now, is there a solution? Am I just saying, oh, don't do anything? No, not at all. I am saying the opposite of what I've always said on this channel. And what keeps me going, because I know I'm right, is that the big picture. You have to run the banks, for example, boycotts, work strikes, rent strikes, election strikes. That's how you bring down the oligarchy. You get them in the pocket. Oh, that's how you drag them to the table. You don't confront the police in the street and get your head cracked open when they have all the power and you have nothing but your bare bones and head to defend yourself. If you raise your hands, they drag you off to jail. Why on earth would someone think that that's the right way to go? Because you're going to get press out of it? I don't know. The Post kind of laughed at it. New York Post said, 20 people, less. They had a good laugh at it. Me, I consider myself an activist and someone who is active or an active reporter, and I'm laughing at it. So what kind of press do you get out of it? I mean, I know TYT, channels like TYT will say, I'm showing you the horses, by the way, I'm going to get on soon. TYT will say, oh, civil disobedience. Oh, it's so good. It feels so good to be arrested for your cause. But if you want to bring the oligarchs down, if people were together, if people could come together and, for example, run the banks, shit would be over. If people would refuse to pay credit card debt and refuse to pay student loans and refuse to pay mortgages simultaneously, that part of the system would collapse. And people would inherit the fruits of those labors, like a house or credit, unsecured credit offered, or an education in those three scenarios. And the oligarchy would be fucked. And what consequence to the economy would it have? It would just be less money in the pockets of the trillionaires, and more money and more influence and more power in the pockets and in the hands of the people. See, that's how you win a civil war. Gandhi said that. Less is more. You don't confront the police with your head. Put your head in front of the banging stick. How fucking stupid is that? All right? You start seeing police swinging sticks, you go the other way. You don't even go near it. Stay away from it. There is no point. There is no argument to be won when police are swinging clubs telling you get out of the way, or they're ready to run a horse over you. But if people came together, right? If people came together and saw the root of the problem, right? which is a very, very small amount of people, maybe 100, maybe 1% of the population, maybe less than a million scumbag billionaires, guys with so much money and so much influence running the whole board. If you just choke those fuckers out, right? We can then have we can then possibly regain, no, definitely, I'll change that. We could definitely regain our freedoms, our rights, our economy, our democracy where courts used to work. I have a lot of people. I actually had to apologize to someone this morning, good friend of mine, who I haven't heard from a while. As I said, it's actually sad, right? I haven't heard from him in a while. If he's watching, what's up, bro? And he asked me for legal advice because I've been in many lawsuits over the years. I've fought both sides of it. I've won a lot. I've lost a lot. And he asked me for legal advice about a lawsuit, and I tell him, bro, I don't, why are you reaching out to me for legal crap? The whole system is falling apart. The idea of getting justice through this system of criminal activity going on all around us. This is where the criminals come to argue and fight for more of your money in Supreme Courts and federal fucking bullshit courts, right? And you're asking me for legal advice? What the fuck, man? Why don't you ask me how I'm doing? Why don't you ask me, am I wearing a mask or not? Why don't you ask me, am I having a nice day? How's your health? How's your mental how's your mental state? Instead, like, I want to see somebody. Help me. Like, no. Lawsuits are ridiculous. Lawsuits are you write it and you file it. You file it and forget it. That's it. Write it, file it, forget it. And that's it. That's the end of that. If you think you're going to get some kind of justice in courts, that's what you do, right? If some asshole files one on you, you answer and you forget about it. It's all bullshit. Nothing ever comes out of any of that stuff. It's all nonsense, right? And so I don't know why I diverted in there. It's just it just made me. It made me think it made me realize just how maybe blind people are, that they don't realize that all of this doesn't work anymore. None of this system of justice and such really works anymore. And to think that to step out into the park, which they may try again today at 12 o'clock, I'll go over there. But I mostly want to talk to the coordinator of the thing, who I know, who has been on the show before. I don't want to say his name before somebody else scoops me, but gets the scoop on it. But and talk to him and ask him what now you know my opinion, right? So when you watch our discussion, if we have one, it'd be interesting to see how an activist sees the effectiveness of what happened yesterday, and someone like myself who concludes that the effectiveness is ineffective. It got a little press. And then it got smeared by the press by saying, only 20 people showed up. Half hour and they all got kicked out of the park. And they show the images of the police. Line of police, like 30 cops with those white things, the white handcuffs, right? And ready to arrest people, ready to start cracking heads and pushing people out if you don't get the fuck out of the park. It's not the way to go. Civil disobedience is a So what's up, everybody? Read some comments, man. They want to scare you into submission, Jason Walsh says. Zip ties. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini. That's what they call zip ties. They're a one-way ticket, one way. They zip, and then you got to cut them off. You are winning. I'm not winning anything. What's up, everybody? I don't feel like I'm winning anything. I'm just a guy who talks about it, right? I try to. The key to my success, if there is any success, is stay sane. The death LARP on repeat. What's up, Quantum Epic? Thank you, everybody, for joining me. So if you're joining late, we're down here. We're just hanging out in the nothingness of New York City, and do some writing in there. And we're gonna do some riding today. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's early in the morning. Stay healthy, man. That's the key, right? That's the key. I was telling you, what is the key to my success? How do I stay sane? I try the best I can to take care of myself, which is which is first, it starts physically. You have to take physical care of yourself. By, like, this morning I ran, I exercised, I ran. I see the jerk-offs in the park wearing masks while they're running, and they give you that dirty look, like you're not wearing a mask, coughing up your phlegm. Whatever, man. It's like, I'm not sick. You got nothing to worry about with me. I got nothing to worry about with you. I know a sick person when I see one. Someone that has the flu. It's so obvious. Get away from that person. Hey, dude, you got the flu, man. Get out of here. All right, so I mean, that's the key to that. You stay healthy, you stay happy. You try to stay as honest as you can, because when you're not honest and you start making up shit, you end up like George Webb and his retarded brother, right? Corruption, trying to influence people. George Webb is in some shit, right? George Webb, I kind of, for lack of a better term, stemmed out of the same camp. I camped out with those guys for a little bit, trying to understand them, and when Jenny Moore died, I was like, fuck these guys, they're crazy. I'm out of here. But George Webb fingering that woman, Mattia Bassani, the cyclist, as COVID-19 patient 0, without any evidence whatsoever, making up a story that he has his informant, the person that informed him of the hospital records, he made that shit up. There's nobody. Trust me. You're not going to find anybody inside that hospital. He made up that story that the woman tested positive for COVID-19. And then he backpedaled when he talked to CNN and said, oh no, I was talking about the antibodies. Now, 25% of the population has the antibody for coronavirus. He lied. He made it up. He smeared the woman for his own gain. He turned it into, he became a Chinese celebrity. A celebrity in China. These are the things you stay away from, because the George Webbs of the world are going to fry. And to be George Webb right now, the grief and I don't think he feels grief. I don't think him or his psychopathic stalker brother feel anything at all for anybody. I think to them it's just a game. They're just an emotionally broken, brotherhood, bunch of jerk-offs, right? And what becomes of it, right? So staying true, and when wrong, promptly admit it. I'm wrong. I'm wrong quite a bit. I'm wrong sometimes, not a lot. I usually hold my fire. I hold my fire until I think I'm right, and then I'll speak. All right. Make sure your brain is in gear before you engage your mouth. Right? That's what you do, right? So anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. Marcus in the morning here. Marcus walking around in the morning. I take a nice bike ride. I'm going to take care of myself. It's still early in the morning in New York City. It's probably like not even 10 a.m. It's a beautiful day. There'll be some protests down by the City Hall, I was told, or another round at about 12 o'clock. And I like I said, if I see police there, I go the other way. I'm not gonna get my equipment broken and thrown into no paddy wagon for being in the wrong place, right? I'll stay in Washington Square Park and get far more insight into this thing by just talking to regular people. And the other thing I want to do today as an experiment is, I know people are really wound up and they're really scared and they're really fearful. And I was trying it this morning walking around in Brooklyn, and I would see people with the mask on and the beady eyes looking at you. And I would say, good morning. Big smile. Hi, good morning. Good to see you. And then they break. And they're like, hi, good morning. How are you? They're fearful. They're fucking afraid, man. People are walking around afraid of each other. They're not used to distance. They're not used to it, right? People, I don't know where you are, where you're watching this. I'm just talking about New York City, where they told us that this was the epicenter of a disease, and it turns out to be unequivocally bullshit. We tested it at every level. We were at the hospitals. We, talked to people. We didn't see the evidence of this incredible death rate that they told us about. We learned that there's millions of cases and very little death. Right? And people are afraid. They're still terrified. They're walking around, stay out of my 6 feet. My 6 feet. I got my ruler today. I got my fucking ruler. I haven't been able to. I got my ruler. I got my 6 foot tape measure. I should start selling these, man. Right? That's a cool motherfucking tape measure, right? I had this when I was a cop, because I used to have to measure the distance when we would give tickets to like Chinatown to the vendors to see if they were 6 feet. If they were X amount of feet, I forget how many feet it was, but they were only allowed to be a certain amount of feet from the into the street. I'm just gonna set this up. I want you to see what 6 feet looks like. Check it out. Let's do a little experiment. So yeah, so this is 6 feet on the ground, right? There's my tape measure. So if you're sitting on the bench. Right, there's the bench. And that's 6 feet right there, right? You can't possibly sit next to anybody, right? That's a lot of distance to really enforce. That means if I'm over here, you see the end of the tape measure? It's all the way over there. It's 3 seats away. Right? You got to scream at somebody, hey, how you doing? Oh, right? The person's all the way over there. That's 6 feet, according to the ruler. There's 6 feet on the ruler. See the ruler? That's the beginning of it. You got to be like, hey, motherfucker, how are you? Good to see you. Right? And then they're still wearing a mask, right? Take your mask off. Talk to me. Right? So that's my theory today, is that I did notice that people in the height of their fear were breaking a little bit. Not to jerk off on like the bike path, the guy that I attacked. Well, he attacked me first and then I attacked him back. Called him motherfucker. Not that guy. But I'm talking about regular people. I'm talking about mom and pops. And not the homeless people that are out of their minds. That lady's crazy, right? She's looking for a fight. She's looking for anything. She wants to be arrested, so maybe she'll get a sandwich. Right? You try to be kind to those people. They're victims of the whole thing. You think your life gets bad? Imagine their life. Imagine the life of someone homeless right now that used to make their way by asking people for 5 cents and 10 cents and $1 and 25 cents to eat, and now there's no people around to ask. What do? You starve to death? So they're panicking, right? But I'm talking about regular people, the people that brave it to come out. And there's millions of people hiding out in their homes right now. Think about that. Millions of people hiding out in their homes right now, afraid to come out and talk to people, because they're convinced, I believe, is that they believe that they're doing a service to others by staying in. I'm doing a service to you by staying away and isolating myself. Now, what kind of thinking is that? What kind of backwards ass shit is that? Where I have to protect you from what? No, you protect yourself. That's the way it works. If you want to protect yourself, you wear a fucking mask. Right? But they're convinced that that they're doing the right thing to help others. Right? They got this Cuomo guy on TV all day long. Oh, Mario. He's a scumbag. The guy says one thing and he does another. I guarantee you yesterday he was the single reason why they closed that park down. NYPD wouldn't have done that. They would have been peaceful. They were right in the middle of everybody, breaking people up. They had a recording going saying, stay 6 feet away from everybody. You're trying to have a rally. You're trying to have a peaceful protest, and they got a recording, a psychological warfare, loud, coming out of a cop car. Stay 6 feet away from everybody. Please keep 6 feet away. Loud. That's not how you win the war. You got to get them in the pocket. That's how you get them. That's how you win that shit, man. That's how you win the war, by taking down the empire You grab them by their pockets because that's the only thing holding them up. It is 1984 stuff, right? You remember we read that book, 1984? I used to read Animal Farm all the time on this show. And you see how the animals conform and they fight for their freedom. And one day they actually get some degree of freedom. And it turns out that the leaders of the movement then become greedy and over time become just like the thing that they ran away from, tried to escape. And you see how the animals lost their rights. They had all rights. They were co-owners in the new country called Animal Farm. Jones's farm was now Animal Farm. And slowly but surely their rights were taken away from them until they were fearful, just like now. Until they were isolated and they looked at the leaders as gods, as people who are going to come and save them and help them and pay for them, give them money, send me my extortion check, send me my $1,200, or I'll starve, or I'll be lonely. Help me. Right? That's what people are fearful. It's no joke, man. Again, I've overheard people saying, sometimes I flip through AM radio and I hear people saying that, so are you, with the radio voice, so are you ready to go to a movie theater someday? Are you ready to go to a restaurant? Or a movie theater? Think about how crazy that is. Think about how utterly preposterous that statement is. Are you willing to have your children go to the park where there's other children? Are you willing to allow your dogs to come mingle in the dog park and see, right? Because now they're telling people that the animals have to stay away. Right? It's starting to scare the shit out of you. The kennels were emptied with people buying or picking up stray animals, and now they're telling them those animals are fucking diseased. There's no proof, with no scientific proof. I like this building. I don't know what it's called, but it's a very expensive, swirly building, and you see it from different angles, and it looks different from every angle every angle. Are you gonna wear a mask at the gym? I don't go to gyms, by the way. Someone said in the comments. It's a pretty building, isn't it? It's very strange. It's probably $1 million condos in there. It's not business. It's residential in the pit. There's probably judges that live in there, billionaire guys, people that live in there, right? It really is. It's very pretty down here, right? It's historical, right? This area looked the same when my grandparents came to New York in the my great-grandparents in the 1920s came to New York City on the banana boat from Italy. They were olive oil smugglers, or whatever they were in Italy. And they came here with the promise of freedom and democracy for their future offspring. Some of them actually saw it. Certainly my mother's generation, my mother and father, prospered greatly from it. My grandparents did too. They bought a house, then bought another house. And they were not highly educated people. They were just blue-collar, salt-of-the-earth kind of workers. And profited enormously. And then my mother and father's generation as well prospered, making all kinds of millions. Not that it ever trickled down to me. But, you know what I'm saying, that generation made money. But this generation didn't get shit, man. The millennials got cut out of the fucking equation, man. That shit is over. Party's over, man. Party's over, bro. So this is City Hall. I was told that if there is a rally at 12 o'clock today, it'll be here. There'll probably be a half a dozen people here, a dozen people. And we'll see what they have to say. I'm all good with that, right? No disrespect meant. I just don't think that... I think that having maybe an interesting conversation with someone that organizes it, or having constructive dialogue with people is good. It advances the ball. It programs me to tell you, and then you to tell somebody else, right? It colors the discussion of what the hell are we going to do to get out of this mess. Is there a mess? Is the mess really coronavirus? Of course not. The mess is a economic shutdown that stems from an economic meltdown that happened a month or two before. And it's been brewing since 2008. It's no fucking mystery, really. It's no mystery, but the corrupt corporate media is not going to tell you that because everything goes in their favor. They're owned by the billionaire class, and they'll promote this coronavirus pandemic till it's to death. As long as you don't talk about that $1 trillion that all the Democrats and Republicans signed off for, trillions of dollars of bailouts to giant corporations that don't need it. And that's what this covers. Was it intended to be that? Was it a plandemic? I don't know about that. I think that it was a good one when it came up. And you got opportunists like Bill Gates who will try to, he believes that if everybody is vaccinated, he's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. And, but for the most part, I don't think it was planned. I think it happens and then opportunists jump out and try to seize the day. That's the Brooklyn Bridge behind me, if you're not familiar with that. I'm going to have to end this soon because I'm getting a little battery message here. But that's the Brooklyn Bridge. You could ride over it. It's very crowded. I don't go on that bridge. There's too many tourists. You're better off with the, when I cross over, I'll cross over on the Manhattan Bridge or the Williamsburg Bridge on a bicycle. You can cross all of them with a bicycle. So Marcus Conte reporting, food for thought. Does civil disobedience really work? Does standing in front of the City Hall screaming de Blasio's name, raising fists in anger, saying, open up, does it really work? Or, they say, if you don't open up now, the 300 million people in this country that have credit cards are not going to pay. And, the money, that mortgage, right? The mortgage that we owe you, fuck you. You're not getting paid. Or, my money's in the bank. I'm going to go take it all out. All of it. Stocks, selling those motherfuckers. IRA, cancel that shit. Cash it in. I believe that's the way to go. If you want to be disobedient, you have to drop the oligarchs to their knees. And that's the way you win, right? Thanks, guys. Beg your master for freedom, says Thomas Robinson. You bet your ass. Lee Veltman, have a good day, all. You too, mate. You too. Always good to see you, Lee Veltman. Lee Veltman puts his head down and is a combat style blogger. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini, for your blessed work. If you got timed out today, guess what, man? That's because you're a dick. That's because you were being a dick. You got silenced because you were being a dick. You wanted to speak when other people were speaking. You wanted to rub people the wrong way because you think it's funny. And guess what? You got timed out. That's your problem. Right? Don't come complaining to me. Oh, that fucking Vinny guy, he timed me out. I'm on the show all the time. I'm always here, and that fucking guy timed me out, man. Marcus, you gotta let me out of the jail. No, it's just because you're being a dick. You got timed out. That's all. That's all that is. Don't be a dick. Okay? So thanks everybody for joining me. We're not done for the day. The day is young, and gonna get out there, see if this rally happens, and do some bike riding. Maybe try to engage a couple of people with masks, and ask them how they're doing. How's your inner child? Are you isolated? Or do you feel alone? Do you want to punch me? Do you want to scream? Do you want to break something? Do you want to fuck? Do you want to fight? What do you want to do? What's going through your mind? You want to fuck? Do you want to fight? Do you want to kill somebody? You want to kill yourself? You want to take drugs? You want to drink? You want to make your problems go away? You want to what's going on in your mind? What's going on in your mind? Marcus Conte reporting.